We have horrifying breaking news to share with you from Nigeria. The AP is reporting that 162 people have been slaughtered by a group affiliated with the Islamic State. I'm joined now by CBN's Billy Hollowell. Billy, both you and I have been covering the ongoing genocide in Nigeria. How are you processing this news?
It's unbelievable in light of everything the U.S. has tried to do now, redesignating Nigeria as a country of particular concern with the U.S. State Department, with the strikes on Christmas Day that the U.S. implemented there. We have sent a sign that we are not going to tolerate this as a country. And that is something that was not happening before the previous administration. And there may have been legitimate reasons for this. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but putting a country on the countries of particular concern list puts pressure by the U.S. government on that country to take care of issues of persecution, issues of mistreatment. And so we have a country in Nigeria that has a 50% essentially Muslim population and a 50% Christian population. The fact that we continue to see Christians being systematically targeted, and a media, by the way, in the West that tends to deny that that is even happening, is troubling. But this is horrific. We need to step out, speak about it. That's why we're covering this. And by the way, we've been continuing to cover Nigeria for years now, even before other people were talking about it. Just so people understand, Nigeria has more Christians slaughtered and killed inside its borders than any other country. I believe 7 out of 10 Christians who were killed last year died in Nigeria. So this is a major issue. It needs to be dealt with, but I am heartbroken for the individuals, the families, the children, the relatives, the loved ones of these people.
Well, that's the statistic you were mentioning was from Open Doors, saying basically that 72% of Christians martyred for their faith last year were in Nigeria. And in this article that the AP put out about this massacre, if you read a little bit farther down, I was just looking at some of these paragraphs. I feel like we have to read this too. In a separate attack on Tuesday, gunmen killed at least 13 people in the village of Doma in northwestern state of Katsina. Last week, Boko Haram extremists in northeastern Nigeria killed at least 36 people during separate attacks on a construction site in an army base. This has become such a personal story to me, because I have to see the photos of the genocide against Christians at the hands of Fulani herdsmen, Fulani terrorists, on a weekly basis for the past year. This isn't a he said, she said. This isn't a weird, maybe like the photos I've seen, again, on a basically daily basis. This is happening. And here's yet another group that I'd never heard of until today. They killed 162 people.
It is unimaginable. And it has not helped, again, that the media has not done a great job of covering this. The media, really,
it's extremists. It's herders.
There's other issues.
It's anything but what's actually happening, which is Christians being martyred for their faith. And I go to Hebrews 13. Continue to remember those in prison as if you were together with them in prison, and those who are mistreated as if you yourself were suffering. And I'm going to come across a little preachy, but I'm actually preaching to myself. We need to have the eyes of what's actually happening to our brothers and sisters in Jesus around the world, and to give us the perspective of their eyes, where it's like, my goodness, almost everything we complain about is so superfluous, so insignificant, so trivial, so privileged, when our brothers and sisters around the world who are standing up for the name of Yeshua are being hacked with machetes and things like that. It's just like, man, like, who cares how much this or that, or like, oh no, the internet's not working, or oh no, I'm stuck in traffic, or oh no, my coworker was rude to me. Like, again, I don't want to come across as preachy, but I think biblically we need to. This is an actual place where empathy is important, because we need to feel the weight of this, and Yeah, I think biblically, like we need like Hebrews 13 says, we need to just not glaze over this, think to ourselves, huh, that was a terrible story I saw on YouTube or on the AP. Anyway, the Super Bowl, so I just think it's important for us to just sit with this for a moment and pray, and genuinely pray and weep for those who weep, mourn for those who mourn, because this is horrific. But I will give you the last word, Billy.
We need to be praying intensely for not just those who are experiencing this persecution, but for the issues that are going on. There are other issues outside of persecution, but persecution is clearly happening, that Christians are being targeted, their land is being taken, they are being killed, they are being slaughtered. And the fact that 7 out of 10 of all of the Christians dying in the world are dying in Nigeria should bring us to our knees, for not just the victims, but also the leaders, the terrorists, the people there who need to change their hearts and their minds. We need to be praying for them daily without ceasing, because this is unacceptable. It's evil, and it's flat out spiritual warfare that is manifesting in the most horrific of physical ways.
Now, there's growing controversy at the National Assembly over one of the most sensitive issues in Nigeria's electoral process, the electronic transmission of election results. While citizens, civil society groups and election experts insist that real-time electronic transmission is essential to credible polls, conflicting signals from the Senate have fueled public doubt over what was actually approved. Well, now, Senator Eyine,
we have horrifying.
People of faith are essential partners in serving the vulnerable, strengthening families, defending life, and shaping the soul of nation here and abroad. The President understands something very profound, that faith is not a threat to freedom. It is its foundation, that prayer is not weakness. It is wisdom, and that leadership at its best is accountable not only to the people, but to God. At a time when faith is under pressure globally, this president has stood unashamed, championing religious freedom at home and abroad, defending persecuted believers. And affirming that America will always be a nation where people are free to worship, free to speak, and free to live their conscience. He is bringing peace through great strength. In fact, President Trump has brought religion back to this nation and beyond. It is my great honor to introduce, and I think I can say this not as senior advisor, but as his friend, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, the greatest champion of faith that we have ever had in the executive branch, the 45th and 47th president. Stand to your feet and give him the biggest welcome of the United States, a man I am honored to call friend, President Donald J. Trump.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you to Pastor Paula. Paula's an incredible woman. She's been with me a long time, right from the beginning. This is a beautiful American tradition, and it's a true honor to be back with so many incredible leaders and people of faith at the National Prayer Breakfast. I think I've been here just about every time. It's hard to turn it down. I don't have the courage to turn it down. Sometimes I want to. Come back from a horrendous trip fighting people that can't stand us, keeping us out of wars, and seeing things that nobody would believe that anybody would see. And last time I came, I got in at 4 in the morning. They said, "Sir, you're going to be speaking at 7." I said, "Really? Oh, that's wonderful." I said, "Where?" "National Prayer Breakfast." I said, "I'll be there." I'm afraid not to be. I need all the help I can get. And you know, I never get a fair break from the fake news, which is back there. That's a lot of fake news. Because last time I was having a lot of fun. We had a big crowd. We had 60,000 people, and I'm talking about the fact that I will never make it to heaven. I will never, ever. And I was being funny. I was trying to be, you know, you can't be sarcastic with them because they write your words, and they don't, the people who are reading the words are much different. But I said, I'm never going to make it to heaven. I just don't think I qualify. I don't think there's a thing I can do, but all of these good things I'm doing, including for religion, you know, religion's back now hotter than ever before. I mean, I have to tell you. But I said, even though I did that and so many other things, I named things, I said, I won't qualify. I'm not going to make it to heaven. And the New York Times did a front page story that Donald Trump is questioning his life and the meaning of his life. No, I was just having fun. I really think I probably should make it. I mean, I'm not a perfect candidate, but I did a hell of a lot of good for perfect people. That's for sure. Right, Mr. Speaker? But I want to thank the dozens of members of Congress here this morning, including a man of immense faith and immense talent. He's a very talented man. He's a small minority. It's just really, because we go back and forth between minority and majority, and half the time we're minority and we still win. How do we win with a minority? You know, we have a couple of people that I consider to be negative, but we're 1 up, 2 up. Sometimes we're 3 up. In fact, we'll have 2 more victories very soon. We'll be 3 up, and we consider that having a massive majority, okay? Right, Mike? That's considered. We're not spoiled. Can you imagine if we ever picked up like 20 or 30 seats? Wouldn't that be that'd be too easy. I think it would be too easy. It wouldn't be fun. I get these calls from Mike. Sir, could you speak to so-and-so 3 o'clock in the morning? You know, we have 2 types. We have the type that goes along with us and believes in us, and they're with us all the way. And that, I would say, is 95%, right? And then we have the type that needs a little love all the time, no matter what it is. For the easiest thing on religion or republicanism, the easiest thing to pass, they always make it difficult, but they always get there. But I have to call them always at 3 in the morning. I'll always get that call. Sir, Speaker Johnson's calling. So I get it. Hi, Mike, what's up? What time is it? So it's 3 in the morning. So we have 9 names they're giving us difficulty. They want to have a phone call. I said, all right, let's go. Here we go. Same 9 all the time, right? You know? So I call up. I say, Chip, how you doing, Chip? Hello, sir. Sir, I can't quite get there. I just don't know. Could I come over for breakfast? You know, we have a 9 o'clock vote, right? I said, really, is it not? Sir, you got to get me there, sir. Let's have breakfast, Chip, great. And then I get others, pretty much the same 9. I don't want to name too many, but I would. And they always get there. We have one that doesn't get there. We have one guy. He's an automatic no. No matter what. If we did welfare reform, if we did the greatest thing in history for religion, no matter what we did, no matter how good it is, greatest tax cuts, and we just did the greatest tax cuts in history, he voted against. He voted. Now, no matter what we do, this moron, no matter what it is, we could put them all together. I think, Mike, what would you say the top 5 things? Name them. We'll put them in one bill, and we'll put them before we get 100% vote, except for this guy named Thomas Massey. There's something wrong with him. We call him Rand Paul Jr. You know, it's like they just vote no. They love voting no. They think it's good politically. The guy's polling at about 9%. It's not good. But we have great support, and we have great support for religion. You know, I've done more for religion than any other president. When Paula was saying that, it was so nice. I was proud of it. And I said, that's true. I told the people backstage. What she said is true. Who else would say that, right? But it is true.